Well, once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seats. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! I like it. Well, that's a good one, to say yeehaw.
Oh,
we used to watch Hee Haw, back in the day. Kind of grew up on that. So
yes,
yeehaw.
I always liked me some hee haw.
Yeah, it's funny to talk to people today about it, even in their 30s. And they don't know what you're talking about. So you tell them, look it up on, YouTube or whatever. And then they just shake their head like, seriously, you watched this? Yeah, we loved it. That was primetime fun right there. That was definitely going on the TV.
And that was the big thing too back then. Oh my gosh. I mean, what was his name? Junior Samples and all that.
Oh, yeah. BR549. He was from Georgia.
Yeah.
I was just doing some research about him just a couple of weeks ago, just trying to get my brain updated again. It's probably stuff I knew and forgot. But yeah, that ran for a long time.
He was a big old boy too, Junior Samples.
He was. And he really didn't get going until he was kind of up a little bit, not old, but, a little older. And then, tragically, health or whatever, I think, got him early. I mean, younger than I am now, and so, yeah, I just think that, but he had a nice niche, platform he did, and they used him in some different ways. And he was one of those, that was out in the field that would pop up in the field, the cornfield and all that, because he was perfect for that. I mean, just perfect.
Yeah. And I'm going to throw another. I know we're on Mannerisms and we're chasing a rabbit again.
No manners.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Minnie Pearl.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Had that price tag hanging off that hat.
How much was on that price tag?
Yeah.
That's good trivia for you.
Yes, I don't know.
I think that's in the Hall of Fame up there.
Oh.
I believe that was $298. I hope I'm right on that. I looked it up before. $298 was the price tag on it.
Wow.
That thing's worth a lot of money.
Oh,
when she was living when me and my wife got married, and we did our honeymoon up that way and did a tour of the Stars homes. We went by her home. That was one of the highlights, was going by Minnie Pearl's home. And then we saw several others. I mean, I don't remember them all now, but it was fun to go up there and go through and see those things. I don't even know if I guess they still do stuff like that. A lot of them don't live right there like they used to. They're kind of up in Hendersonville, and some of them are out in Branson, Missouri, and all that. But that was still when we had Opryland and all that going on. So, but yeah, that's a lot of good memories right there.
What was your favorite song they sang?
Well, I mean, I don't remember all the songs, to be honest. I would have to say, I guess, the old guy sitting around, that probably was the one that really stood out, because I love that scene every time, how they sitting around the rockers and,
Doom, despair.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's what stands out. I mean, Buck Owens had some songs. Now, I was a big fan of Roy Clark, so I won't think songs. I think him playing. Just enjoyed watching him play the guitar. The guy was as good as anybody out there.
Didn't he play the banjo too?
Any instrument. He could play anything.
Mm. Well, the other song that they sang that I really liked was the "Where, oh Where Are You Tonight?"
I remember that too.
You was gone.
Well, you had Grandpa Jones. He had a couple of things he played reoccurring through the show, and I mean, we could just go on and on, but that
yeah, we got to get back. We got to let that rabbit go.
Yeah, there you go. He's running that rabbit, Robert. We got to get the manners.
I got him. I'm sorry, but you said hee haw.
Well, it just reminded me.
Ain't but one thing worse you can say on this show than hee haw. Andy Griffith. And we're off track.
Well, before we go on to manners, I'm going to say we're going to have us a little kind of like we're doing on this. We're going to do some reminiscing. That's a good old something. Some reminiscing on some stuff like that, and talk about favorite episodes or portions of episodes and characters. And I think we're going to do some of that. And hopefully when we go live, we'll do a lot of that and then people can jump in and kind of give us theirs, get in the chat, and come up with us and talk about their favorite episode. We'll definitely be putting something together like that for Hee Haw or Andy Griffith Show or whatever, So that'd be fun.
Green Acres.
I see you went there.
You're going after another rabbit. We got to do man.
I'm just going to say, you may take a southern point away from me. I wasn't a big fan of Green Acres. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's a point gone.
I figured I could watch it, but I was probably a bigger fan of Petticoat Junction.
I did like Petticoat Junction too, but one gone. How many do you have? You said Pop. That was 2 gone. Just,
I don't know how many southern points I had.
Grits.
No, I don't like grits. I got to be honest.
That's 4 gone. I mean, how many do you have? I still got all mine, I think.
You might have lost one, but I think I brought up something one night and you said you didn't like it. So I'm just going to go with that. It sounds good anyway. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I still got some southern points.
Because I actually own an air fryer instead of a deep fryer.
Well, that might be the point one right there. You got took away, Yeah.
I'll live with it.
No, you told me something one day you didn't like, and I was a little shocked. We talked about that just here a while back in one of the programs. We'll have to remember that, but you've lost another point. I don't
remember that.
Oh, I know what it was. One of the things you told me, you didn't like country music.
I didn't. I don't.
You told me you said, yeah.
So I don't like no. Let me rephrase it. I like bro country. I'll admit it. I like bro country. I do not care for the old stuff that you used to have to. If you played it backwards, you get your girlfriend back, your house back, your beard back, your dog would come back to life. I didn't like it. It was.
Hey, you just besmirched a whole class of people there, Rob. So you've definitely lost.
Sorry. Hey,
I think that's a 2-pointer, man.
I am man enough and country enough to like what I like. I don't criticize nobody else's taste in music because I can't sing, and I know it. All right, but I like what I like. I like bro country. I like classic rock, and I like southern rock. That's what I like. All right, so y'all don't like what I like. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
As but deep south as you are,
like what you like.
As deep south as you are, and you don't like some good country, man. I can't believe it. I'm not letting you get off the hook on this one. We'll come back. We're going to circle back to that.
I like Alabama.
Well, okay.
The music group. Okay. See that mountain over there? One of these days I'm going to climb that mountain. I like some Alabama.
So I'm sorry. I just got to park here for just a second. Let me throw 3 names at you. And if you don't like one of these 3 names, you're in trouble. So I won't go all the way back because it's a little before your time, but we'll just say Hank Williams Jr. You a fan?
Yes. That was where bro country started, I think.
Okay. Merle Haggard.
Oh, I like Mr. Merle.
Okay.
There's a few of them I like.
Waylon Jennings.
Absolutely love Waylon Jennings.
Okay. I can give you some relief here.
Me, Earl and I actually, or my old wrestling partner and I actually came out to a Waylon Jennings song, Ain't This Outlaw Thing Done Got Out of Hand.
Now that's all outlaw country.
Mm-hmm.
So we got you boxed in here. So let's swing over here and let's go Roy Acuff. Yeah, I got you on that one. You don't like Roy.
I know who Roy Acuff is.
I know you know, but you don't like
And
him.
I've seen Roy Acuff. I would say I am a fan out of respect.
Marty Robbins.
Down in that El Paso, down in that El Paso town down in Texas, where he fell in love with the Mexican girl and all that stuff. He could have just stayed there. No use. Not a fan.
George Jones.
No.
Okay, you just lost your Southern points, man. Come on.
What?
Because the outlaw really, you're really linking that kind of them with Southern rock. That's like Southern rock country or some of that, because the way you're kind of looking at it. But I'm taking your points away, man. I'm sorry. What y'all think out there? This is manners, but this is really good. I like that we went down this road.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Now, I'm going to be entirely fair with you.
Okay.
Not going off the deep end.
All right.
Do you like Georgia Florida line?
Well, that's a little before I don't listen to those things anymore. None of it.
Okay. So
go back. You got to go back, man. I'm old school.
I'm trying to remember some of these. Randy Travis.
Yeah. All right, Randy. Digging up bones, baby.
Well, that's what you old people do. I'm sorry, elderly people do.
I used to have. I think me and my wife bought the greatest hits one time. Randy Travis, greatest hits. Yeah.
Why?
There's great songs on there. What else you got, man? Come on.
Do you like Willie Nelson?
Yeah. Blue Eyes.
I like Willie Nelson. I actually went to a Willie Nelson concert in Wisconsin.
His boy's pretty good too. I don't really watch. I got some friends that really kind of keep up, but they played me something one day. He's pretty talented. What else you got?
All right, let's see. I can't remember the name. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I can't remember his name. I can picture him. Who sang the song "Watching Girls Go By"?
I can't remember.
I can remember seeing him on TV, sitting down playing this song.
Well, while you're thinking of that, let's give the ladies some love and say, I'll throw some more names at you. Loretta Lynn.
No.
My wife just took a Southern point away from you on that.
I do like Dolly Parton.
Okay. She goes way back. Patsy Cline?
New stuff.
Patsy Cline?
I got to say, I like Patsy Cline. I do like her.
Okay.
Crystal Gale.
Crystal Gale? Yeah.
I like her for one song. That Footprints in the Sand song, when she sang that,
yeah,
that brought tears to my eyes. I like that.
Mandrell Sisters?
No. Neither one. None of the three of them.
Man.
They were all pretty. Don't get me wrong.
That's hard, man.
They were all pretty. But, no. The only
Tammy
one.
Tammy Wynette.
Yeah, I could tolerate Tammy. The only song Barbara Mandrell sang that I liked was "I Was Country" when country wasn't cool. And that was only because old Possum came in and saved her at the end.
Oh, man. That's cold.
What? I'm speaking from the heart.
Oh, man.
What?
That's rough. What about some Clint Black?
I did. Huh?
Clint Black.
Yeah, I can handle Clint.
Okay.
That's kind of.
George Strait. I bet you don't like him.
No. Wait a minute. I confused George Strait and George Jones. I do not like George Strait.
I figured.
I can't handle old Possum. I can't handle old possum.
Okay. Well, let me give
George
you a
Strait.
couple of
No.
um, Alan Jackson.
Yes.
Okay. He harkens back to the old. A lot of his stuff is harkens back to early days of country. I mean, that was influences on him.
Kenny
Yeah.
Chesney.
Like I said, that comes up a little bit. Like I said, I had quit listening to all that. So I mean, I know the name and I know who he is and all that. I mean, like
Uh,
Dwight Yoakam. I mean, I could go there.
all right, now I gotta admit,
I don't know the modern ones. I really don't. I mean, unless I see a news article or something, I really don't listen. So we'd have to have somebody younger than us that would kind of go there. But I mean, I'm sure my kids probably could tell me all the names, but I don't know them. I really don't. And I do kind of keep up with music scenes, but that one's, I mean, I know who Kid Rock is. I mean, I don't know if that even
yeah,
qualifies in this conversation, uh,
I watched Kid Rock.
but he gets in the news a lot, besides just the music. So that's kind of where I, get that. But, um, I mean, I know you probably like Travis Tritt because he's kind of like Southern rock,
Let me tell you something. I think Travis Tritt's one of the best singers ever, and and musician. But as far as pure out and out singing ability, that man probably has one of the best voices and can carry a tune like nobody's business. That remake he did of "Take It Easy" off the Eagles album. I know it came off the Eagles album. He did it better.
He did a good job. When him and Marty Stewart was touring together a lot, me and my wife and who was that? My sister, I think, and another uh, person we invited went up to see him in McMinnville, Tennessee, and we were in this school gymnasium, and actually our seats were horrible, but it was really good for a lot of reasons. We got to see a lot of stuff we wouldn't normally see. We were up above them, behind back, but almost like behind them. We were behind them, not almost. We were behind them, but we were elevated, so we're up in the air. But we were kind of looking down, so we got to see a lot of the show from a different perspective, and the sound was still great. The only problem with that is, and we didn't realize at the time that happened, was Travis Tritt had that really big hit right about that. It was the one that really put him in the stratosphere. Was "Here's a Quarter" called "Someone Who Cares."
Yes.
Well, when they started singing that, all the people in that place started singing quarters, man, and we got drilled.
Oh.
I mean, drilled. My buddy of
Oh.
mine, I think he got hit right in the forehead with one.
Oh. Wow.
I mean, you really just had to kind of shield your face, man. They were slamming all over the place. Somebody made some money that night picking up all that stuff.
Oh, you're
But even
right.
a couple of the band members got hit. I mean, it was very dangerous. They told them, I think they even had messages not to do it, but they wasn't going to listen. But I remember that show.
I
That
bet you
goes
did.
way. That goes back. That goes back a ways.
Yeah, I'll tell
But
you
yeah,
another. I'm gonna look. You hit on one of my favorite singers here. I got to bring up one other song that he did
okay.
that I absolutely loved. Anymore.
Anymore?
If
Yeah.
you haven't ever heard Travis Tritt sing that song, oh my gosh, that is possibly one of my most favorite songs of all time.
I was a big Trent fan. I
Yeah.
he's still out there getting it. He's a good patriot, conservative guy. Loves America. He gets it. I think what's he from, Atlanta or right outside of Atlanta?
Actually, from White, Georgia, which is
Okay.
just north of Atlanta.
Okay. I knew it was close. But he's had a very long and distinguished career. You know, he's still out
Yes.
there getting it. And
Mm.
but I like Travis. He's a good old boy. You
All
know.
right, go ahead and ask me. God, we killing manners here, but go ahead, ask me another one. We need to get this thing settled. Go ahead, lay it
Well,
on
it's
me.
it's good manners. We're showing manners by respecting each other's opinions here, even though we're
Yeah.
taking Southern points away. So
Uh,
let me think
who was
of
the guy
some
that was on Hee Haw that sang with Roy Buck Owens?
Buck Owens. I was fixing to say his name, old Buck.
Not a
Well,
huge fan.
I got to admit I wasn't either.
I did like the one that he did with Dwight Yoakam about the streets of Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's
Yeah,
about it.
I wasn't a fan of his. I don't know. I just didn't care for his. He was talented. I just didn't care for his stick. His style or whatever.
He
I'll
was like,
give you another one. I'll give you another one I wasn't a fan of. And somebody asked us this here a while back. Maybe it's Chris or something. Who was this was asking us? But Porter Wagner. I was never a fan.
uh,
Never really a fan.
some of those guys were just way too over the top for me as far as the twang and all that.
I think
But
it was the flashy outfits too. I never was really into that. It just kind of a deal killer for me.
I
Um,
can't say that. I like me some Elvis too.
well, a lot of people were Elvis fans. Of course, the biggest controversy was that Elvis got in the Country Music Hall of Fame. There's a lot of people don't like that. They don't like that he actually got put in the to the Country Music Hall of Fame. But he did do. They had those albums, Elvis Country and all that. And,
Oh, yeah.
hey, marketers are always going to market. They're always going to try to make a buck. So that's how
Yeah,
all
he
these things got
did.
changed and expanded over time. Anyway, I mean, you think about the early days of the Grand Ole Opry and a lot of those artists. I mean, it was very straightforward singing, very
Right.
straightforward. And then you get up into the 80s. That's when it really started changing. I mean, there was a little bit in the 70s, but not much. It was, that was the whole idea of the outlaw country. That's
Yes.
those guys, they were mad because, they wouldn't let them in, and so they just went all outlaw.
Yeah.
We'll go
But
to our fans. We don't need you.
let me throw this name out there at you and see if this sticks to you. Tom Petty.
Well, I like some of his stuff. I won't say I like everything. It was a really good songwriter. He comes out of that. He worked. I think it was Don Felder of the Eagles that taught him to play guitar, and he spent some time down there in that North Florida.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was a lot. There was a lot of bands, a lot of talent down there at that time that played at all these places, and Tom Petty was one of those that kind of got into that scene with Leonard Skinner and many
Yeah.
others. But he was a very I hate he's gone, but he was a very talented guy. I liked his work with the what would they call the Traveling Wilburys or
Yes.
whatever.
Traveling Wilburys.
I liked that, and I did like a lot of his stuff. But he some of the stuff he got into, I didn't really care for. So I won't say I liked everything he did, but I did like a lot.
All right. Let me throw this one here at you. It's Ferner, but I think you'll agree with me. Probably all round musician, probably one of the greatest ever. Bill Collins.
Absolutely uber talented. When you hear him, you don't know unless you really know. People wouldn't know whether it was him solo or with Genesis. I mean,
Yeah.
and you got to give respect to a guy that plays drums and sings at the same time. So,
Well, he didn't just
uh,
play. I mean, that whole soundtrack from Tarzan, the animated movie, I think he
yeah,
wrote most of that. And like
he
the
he
the
wrote,
camp going around, the little monkeys are going around beating on all the different stuff.
yeah,
They were actually doing that in studio, and that's just ugh.
he wrote so many hits that even the English press was giving him a hard time about it. Like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, they've turned on him.
Yeah.
He's just writing songs and putting them out, but he made hit after hit after hit in the 80s. I mean, he had them from the 70s, but in the 80s, he went solo. He killed it, as we say. He really
Um,
did. Now, I will give you two names that I don't care for. I respect him. I respect his part in it. And there's a couple of songs I can handle. I'm not a big Roy Orbison fan. I'm just not.
no,
And
no,
I know he's legendary and all that, but I couldn't tell you one song that Bob Dylan sung. I'm not a fan. And I know
okay.
some people would be mad at me for saying that. But hey, it's likes. I'm not putting him down as a person. I'm just not a fan. I don't care for that style.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's a lot. Now, I bet Rob, I bet not. I bet I just got this feeling, Rob. I'm gonna drop this on you. You're gonna be mad at me.
Okay, drop it on me.
I
Drop it on me.
bet you had on cassette tape rolling down the road. I bet you sung you some achy breaky heart from Billy Ray Cyrus, man. I just got this feeling old Rob was a big old achy breaky.
I changed the words in it.
Well, we better not go there.
Yeah, we can go there. I changed the words in it so I could stand it. You know, instead of "Don't break my heart," it was "Don't smell that fart."
Oh,
Sticky, smelly
that
fart.
does.
I just don't think you'll understand.
Oh, he
No, I
was.
was not. I was not an
I did.
achy, breaky heart
I was.
fanboy.
I was kidding with you. I didn't think that you were.
But that being said,
He made a lot of money off that. Oh, a
yes,
lot of money. It launched him into superstardom, as they say.
yes, and that video that they had with Dolly Parton and I can't remember who all else was in it. And I can't where he comes walking in and they're all talking about how good he's looking and I can't remember.
I don't even remember.
That was a classic kind of song there too. But
I want to say, and I haven't been in a long time. I'd love to go back. In Nashville, I toured the RCA studios, where so many of those legendary artists recorded. I mean, really greatest selling albums of all time. One of the things, and I've been in there. Elvis recorded a lot there too. But it popped in my head, so I'll mention it. Elvis didn't write songs; he bought songs. He would cover other people's songs. He could cover it. I mean, just as good or better than anybody else. But that's what he did. So he wanted to, and I may get some of this wrong. So somebody wants to give me a hard time and just correct me. We're not looking at notes. We're just going off our memories and they fade. But I do remember this because I've heard the story a few times. He wanted to do Guitar Man that Jerry Reed had done. And I was a big fan of Jerry Reed. I always liked Jerry Reed. I loved the veterans. Jerry Reed had a lot of great movies. He had some funny songs, a great player, and he was a session musician at one time. But anyway, Elvis wanted to cover Guitar Man. They could not figure out how to get that guitar tone that he had in that song. So somehow, this is way before cell phone eras, they were trying to track him down. Well, Jerry's out on a boat fishing. You'll like this. He's out on a boat fishing up there on the river. Somehow they figured out where he's at. They went down there and they're like, Elvis wants to do Guitar Man. So he's excited about that. I mean, that was money, I mean, he made money off of it. Now he could make even a lot more money off of it. They said, but they get him on the phone and Elvis is asking personally. He said, well, we can't get this tone. We want to know how you set it up. And he says, Elvis, man, I can't tell you over the phone. All I could do is show you. So they had him come in. And if I remember right, I could have this part wrong, but I believe he played it instead of showing them. He just played it. And if I remember right, they did that song in one take, which is really hard to do. But that was a great story. Two giants, Jerry Reed and Elvis, and they come in there and both songs are good, both versions, Jerry's and Elvis's. But back in those days, if I remember right, towards the end of Elvis's life, if Elvis bought one of your songs, I think it could be as high as $50,000 for the song. So you think about, because he died in 1977. You think about the early 1970s. If somebody sold a song for $50,000, man, how far that would have went into, think about today's dollars, what that was worth at that time to sell a song. It was a huge deal,
Oh yeah.
or to pay the rights to record it or whatever. Like Colonel Tom Parker wanted him to buy the songs. Now, Elvis fought him on some of his best hits from the early 1970s. He had some songwriters that he really liked, and they agreed not to buy them. Like Kentucky Rain, that was one of them. In the Ghetto was another one. He had the sessions that were just amazing, and he he cut some really good songs, but Colonel wasn't happy about it. But Elvis says, I'm doing the songs. He really, dug his heels in, as we say, and said, these are great songs that I want to do them. If we can't buy them, I'm still doing them. He got his way. I think they cut 2 albums worth of material around a few weeks' time or months' time or whatever. And those were some of the biggest hits that Elvis ever had. This is before he, health started going down and all the drug use and stuff. It's a sad end, like it is for so many artists. But that at that time he was, even in the early 70s, he was still, king. I mean, as you say, cash register king.
Yeah. There's so many singers from that era. I mean, and even before then, that I feel like never got enough credit. And I'm gonna throw one out there, and yeah, there's been a movie made about him and all that good stuff. But as far as just making music, I'm gonna throw Richie Valens out there.
Well, of course, Life Cut Short.
Yeah.
I think among the people who really write the histories of music, and I think they do there, but in the public eye, maybe in certain corners of but not to the level. I mean, we could say that about all those guys, that the Big Bopper and different ones, that Buddy Holly.
We lost a lot of talent in that little crash.
And you know who was supposed to be on that flight, gave his seat up?
Yeah.
Waylon Jennings.
Yeah.
He gave his seat up. One of them wanted it. I don't remember which one it was, but somebody wanted his seat really bad, and he gave it up. So he dealt with a lot of guilt off of that. Yeah. I mean, who knew? It was bad weather, but who knew that was going to happen? Well, I mean, we could go on. I remember when I was out in Nashville, and of course I've read some stuff too. This really began the country stars driving the buses so much because you had so many plane crashes. Patsy Cline, those guys, and there was a couple of others. They
John
felt
Denver.
like it. Yeah, and that was a little later, but they felt like that was just, I ain't getting on a plane. We'll travel by bus. That became a huge thing. They really kind of kickstarted the remodel of those buses to become their traveling, home, because they would travel around on those buses and hit the fairs and the festivals and the the arenas and the whatever to just keep the money coming in and everything. They made a lot of money doing it. I remember seeing Loretta Lynn's bus. I've seen a few of them back in the day. I saw her bus in Rocky Face, Georgia once. They were pulled up at a restaurant there getting some food. But I used to see that
back here in yesteryears.
It had been too many years ago. I was doing some security, and Willie Nelson pulled into a what is the name of that hotel in here in town? God,
the Reed House?
No. This was not downtown. It was off of 75 and Shallowford there. The Embassy Suites. They stayed there. My buddy actually escorted them in. They were traveling and wanted to get some rooms for the night. Sometimes you just got to get out of the bus.
Yeah.
So, but he, this has only been a few years ago. I didn't see him, but I saw the bus.
Wow. There's so much. We have such a strong tie. This country does to music, especially. I mean, you could track the history of this country through the music.
Well, I mean, first of all, music was passed down by those the Appalachia, all those people that with the guitar, the banjos, the violin, or whatever, and fiddle, I guess would say. Those songs were passed down that way, and then in the early days of radio, people didn't have conveniences, but most people had a radio, and of course they only played that radio at night when all the chores were done and everything. It was a big treat. So you had the music. The Grand Ole Opry was huge. I mean, that was big, but you also had the radio shows that later became TV shows like Gunsmoke and other ones, Lone Ranger, all those. So that radio really helped. I mean, that's where I mean, if you were on the Grand Ole Opry, if you got called up to get on the Grand Ole Opry, and think about all the hundreds of thousands of people, maybe millions, that were listening on a Saturday night. I guess it was Saturday night when that came on, and they would say, "We're going to introduce a new artist to you. Here comes up a young lady." You see that Nicole Miner's daughter, Loretta Lynn, comes in. That was, you made it. You had made it. Everybody now knew your name, and now it was just a matter of having something done on a record and getting. Of course, by then she had a couple of songs out there, at least one that was making the radio play. The radio stations are playing it. A lot of, all AM at one time, all AM stations, but all that, the radio, that drove all that music.
Yes.
That was their foot stomping music.
Back then, the radio did a massive precursor to the internet. Because everybody believed it if they heard it on the radio.
Well, sure. We had
did the War of the Worlds thing.
Yeah, we had a good friend Earl Friedenberg on, and he goes back a long way in radio, and he talked about, the calling the games in and a half behind, or getting the tape and all that. But he turned a lot of that, and he liked the country, and he mentioned Dolly Parton and some of those that they. And it wasn't just country. I mean, you had the pop or the different groups like that too. But that really drove this Appalachia area. I mean, it was huge to have those artists, and so some of them were known way before they saw them by way of radio, and then to get to see somebody like they're coming to this local festival or whatever that was a big deal. I mean, probably paid a dime or a quarter or 50 cents to get in, and you got to see somebody. I mean, you felt like, that's in a sense to a lot of them, a lot of those it was like seeing Elvis. I mean, they had heard them on the radio first, maybe for a long time, and then all of a sudden getting to see them, that broke a lot of, think about all the Dolly Parton was one that you mentioned, but there's a lot of others. They came out of the hills of Tennessee, Kentucky, and different places. And that constant touring radio put them on the map. And then, of course, the buying the records and stuff, which we remember that. That's fun. It's fun. We bridge some eras here, and it's kind of fun. I mean, there's obviously things that went on before us. My dad would talk about, there were some artists he liked. My dad was a big Jim Reeves fan. I mean, he used to like him. What was the guy named Horton that sung the military, songs? And somebody will correct me when they see this. I can't think of the name right now. But you had those people, and they just meant something to them to have those songs. And they were catchy. They were very short. I mean, think how short some of those songs were. I mean, some of those songs weren't 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You could only put so much on a record anyway, and the radio stations wanted things they could turn very fast, so you couldn't go 5 minutes with a song. I mean, going 3 minutes was considered too long. So you had those songs; they had two lines and a chorus, or if you can get it in quick, third line and maybe hit the chorus twice, and then you're done. I mean, some of those classics were done in very short. You go back and look at them; you turn them on, they're on and off. I mean, that's the way they were designed.
Okay. I got to throw a name out there for you. You probably will not know who this is.
Okay.
But while you're talking about all them little short songs, in this era when rock was becoming rock and it was being defined, and Jimmy Reeves was out there, there was a singer named Arlo Guthrie.
I remember Arlo.
He sang one of my favorite songs ever. Can you guess which one it is?
Is that he the one that did Alice's Restaurant or whatever it's called? Yeah.
He threw all caution to the wind. You will not hold me to 2 or 3 minutes. You will not hold me to 5 minutes.
I got to tell you this too, and a name we didn't mention before we close this recording. And he unfortunately passed away. Great patriot, loved America, loved kids. Later in life, I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't always a Christian, but he lived pretty hard at one time. But he became a warrior for Jesus. Charlie Daniels, and the Charlie Daniels Band. And I remember back, and of course, his biggest hit was
The Devil Went
Devil
Down to
Went.
Georgia.
Yeah. Well, around the time that song was so big, we were camping up on the lake, mom and dad and me. And he was playing, him and his band was playing for, of course, this was back when the volunteer jams were going and all that, but he was playing for somebody up there in the rich areas, we'll say.
Yeah.
Somebody had Charlie Daniels in, and you couldn't see him, but it come down that off across that water. And I'm
Oh,
serious, it was like you were on the front row of the concert. We
oh,
heard the whole thing. It was beautiful coming out, and it was a beautiful night, and the water shimmering, and Charlie Daniels band playing. And I remember when he played that song, man, everybody was standing up in the campground. That was like
wow.
you felt like you were there.
Yeah.
But he was another one that I really liked. I liked Charlie.
Yeah. Now
By the way,
I did
he
like
had
him.
he went to a church, I think it was in Murfreesboro. And by the way, Mr. Santa was on his brother. I think they went to the same church. He could correct me if I'm wrong. But he recorded an album, I think I've told you this, called Still Witness, all original stuff. It's a little long, some of it's a little slower. It's a little on the upbeat side, so some people might not like that. But he's got it's a really good album. I don't know if he ever put out another Christian album. I mean, he recorded a lot of stuff, but it was here and there. But this was called Still Witness, and there's some great songs on there.
Oh wow, I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah,
Uh, I look, as far as music goes, I like music. Okay, always have. Can I throw one more group out there for you
sure.
that I think is amazing? And I know we're running long, but it doesn't matter. Pentatonics. Have you ever listened to them?
I don't think so.
Uh, Let me throw that out there for you. Listen to them. You will like them. It's an a cappella group.
Okay,
They do a lot of Christmas songs. They've done a lot of Christmas songs and stuff like that. They do a whole lot of music. Absolutely amazing. I have never seen so much talent as this group has. Anything they do, as far as I've seen, has been absolutely amazing. Pentatonics.
okay,
Look them up. And I
I
think
will.
you will enjoy them. It's not country. Well, some of the stuff they do is country, but it's just they'll take a song and that's all I'm gonna say.
I will.
Well, now real quickly on manners.
Okay, we were supposed to talk about manners. We're just having fun. We're having fun. So if you were looking for manners, I hope you enjoyed the music talk.
uh, we will do this manners broadcast. We will try this again later. Like I said, y'all, we record our stuff right now because we're not on live. We don't edit nothing. Uh, what we have said is what you're going to see. We don't play that, and we just got off on a great big rabbit hunt tonight, and
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I
I
thoroughly
did too.
enjoyed the rabbit hunt.
I did too, and I hope y'all did too because it was fun for us. So,
We'll do it.
uh,
We'll do it again.
yes, we generally try to reserve this kind of stuff for front porch talking, but
It's
yeah.
okay. When we get together, we just kind of go with sometimes where it's going.
Yeah. But we love y'all. We hope y'all have a great night. Like us and follow us on Facebook. Subscribe and follow on YouTube. We're on all the major things out there, I think. But we love every follow we get, and lets us know you're enjoying what we're doing. And we love y'all. And hopefully, when this airs, we will already have had our first live broadcast. There's something to think
Yeah.
about.
Can't wait.
And everything went well. We're going to have another one tomorrow night because that'll
Yeah.
be Friday. We're going to do Friday night front porch talking, and it's going to get for real. For real, for real. Just saying. All right. Got anything you want to say?
Just thanks for watching. We're having fun. We hope you enjoy some of the things we're doing. And when we go live, come up and be with us. Some of you are camera shy, but some of you are not. Come on up and join us on some of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Hit us up on YouTube or Facebook. We're going to be live hopefully this week. And we are just
Yeah, we're
excited
on
to
go, ready to go. We're like the horses,
cheers.
ready to let go at the Kentucky Derby or something. So,
All right. Love y'all. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Salute.